Now that is what we call an episode. Let's talk about it. Hey guys, Brent here back for Geek Variants alongside the man, the myth, the Marvel, Will Parker here for some Mandalorian action, season 3, episode 2. Will, I know you got questions. You got any comments before we get into this episode?
Uh, Comments. Yeah, I was kind of wondering about IG and what they're gonna do because after watching the episode and doing some reading, I was thinking it was like, yeah, I mean, I'm not a big fan of killing off a character and then bringing it back and then killing off, bringing it back. So what are they gonna do? Seems like they kind of ditched IG freaking for the other droid to figure stuff out. So I was happy with that. And yeah, they just kind of went right into it. The first episode was like a lead up. This one jumped right into, hey, we're on Mandalore, we're going in. I thought they was going to drag it out, so I was happy we got as far as we did in this episode.
I mean, just to put out a theory I've already kind of thought up during the episode, as far as IG is concerned, there's going to be a bigger and more overwhelming threat if they're already moving at this kind of breakneck pace. Um, Moff Gideon could be in talks, so we could get our boy Giancarlo Esposito back. So that could really, really shake things up. We had the introduction of the pirate captain who showed up on Carl Weathers' planet and was trying to mess some things up. So he could be a big thing moving forward. I have his name written down somewhere. I gotta remember what that is, but he was. I think it was Gorgon Shard, but that could be something worth looking into. Um, there was a lot of Star Wars stuff mentioned, things that have been said like off screen but have been confirmed. It was interesting that we finally got the name Concordia for the name of where Din Djarin was born. That was nice to get some kind of confirmation. Finally get to see the wreckage of Mandalore because the Empire did a hell of a number, and someone who's had a military background would understand the level of fu that the galaxy did to Mandalorian people. Basically, EMP blasted them back into the Stone Age, and then nuke them several times over. On top of that, they were the example of what happens when you stand up to the Empire. This is where Ground Zero basically was for Palpatine taking over.
I mean, that's what I was looking at. I was looking at all the bomb craters and stuff like that as they were kind of flying in. I was like, yo, they went ham in here. Like, I've always heard you talk about it and, kind of wonder what happened, but actually getting to see Mandalore and all that stuff that was just decimated throughout, having to check the toxicity and see what's going on, all the ruins underneath what it was is like, yo, they literally buried them.
They buried them. They went full shock and awe campaign. This is what happens when you act up. This is what happens when you get out of line. And it was a full on ramification of what happened. I don't remember if Vader was the one who personally led this at Purge or if it was Grand Moff Tarkin. That part I had to brush up on my Mandalore history, but they sent very, very important figures to ensure that this planet never saw the light of day again and that the Mandalorians would not rise up. Because, I mean, you saw what happened when Din literally rose up against Moff Gideon. It was one Mandalorian and he took out a significant chunk of things. Mind you, he had help from Luke, but things were there. And then the fact that they mentioned Mandalore the Great again, I think they're really trying to pay homage to Star Wars canon that has been written, or not necessarily canon because he wasn't officially on screen. Star Wars is weird like that, but Mandalore the Great was kind of the guy. If you people like in basketball like say I'm him, Mandalore the Great was he was him. He was one of the people that actually united the Mandalorians together for a common cause, and then as you saw the Mythosaur chilling in the water, he tamed that. It's like you have to be a whole different kind of breed to do something of that stature and of that grandeur. And I think Bo at the very end of the episode kind of had a moment, if you will, when she was doing her double take to the water. It was like, hey, all the stories I saw were true. I thought this was just kind of a ritual thing. This is just kind of a you have to do it, but you don't need to believe in it sort of thing. And now she's seeing there may be some kind of substance to it. kind of like the substance of being subscribed to our lovely channel. Much appreciated if you are already. If not, you're 5 minutes in. You might as well. Any other questions you got pertaining to this episode?
No, I mean, I was just happy to see Bo Katan get some action in. Again, she is lethal with the sword because you still see Din Djarin struggling with the sword to kind of get things done, and she effortlessly was wielding that thing and making stuff happen to whatever that little eyeball thing was. I don't know what that.
It's not anywhere else that I'm aware at this time what race, what species.
Yeah,
Could have
but
been like a Mandalorian that's been corrupted. Like there's so much gray area.
yeah, but I'm just still here. Like the what did you call it in the water? The
The Mythosaur.
like so that thing was tamed by the original Mandalorian,
Mm.
Mandalore or whatever, and it kind of seemed like something because it snatched them down into the water, and then when she had that moment, she was kind of looking at it, it understood something, or like there was like a understanding or something like
Like a
that.
mental connection, like when you just kind of look at your buddy and you guys both know you're up to some shenanigans, but this was
Yeah,
kind of like, I see you.
and it took off. So it's just like, what does that do? Like that opens up my head to so many different possibilities as to what's going to happen. Like I do think that it's possible that Bo-Katan's going to get a chance, or get the sword back at some point. Probably not off Mando. Mando may lose it back to Moff Gideon, and if she fights Moff Gideon and wins it off of him or something like that, and she gets to run the show or something like that, or that creature ends up being something that comes and helps at some point if they bring forces back, or they want a second run at Mandalore due to whatever reason. Because I don't know, like it's just a lot of things going through my head right now of what could happen. But again, the Star Wars lore is kind of already set to a degree, so this is kind of filling in gaps. So
It's
mhm.
filling in gaps, but they're using a lot of characters that are not tied to anything, which is why I had issues when they used Luke, because Luke is such a already written in stone character. Filling in gaps for him, you need to be very specific and you need to be very purposeful with how you use him, because otherwise you can kind of mess up other continuities that could have already existed that we haven't seen on screen officially. But
Mhm.
ultimately, it looks like they used him correctly, where he was the huge shock and awe for the end of season 2, and then just kind of faded off and did his thing. Grogu seems to be kind of growing up, seems to be in that teenager phase. Was it just me, or did he seem like he was talking back to Bo Katan at times?
It
He's kind of
seems
getting a little mouthy.
he was communicating, definitely communicating more. To what level or extent his communication is still kind of remains to be seen. He's definitely more open with, okay, if I gotta scrap, and we kind of saw that in Boba Fett and a bit more, like he's ready to fight back if he needs to defend himself quickly. There's no more hesitation on his part. So yeah, he's definitely growing up, and we're gonna see more of him, I think, as it goes on. I don't know if they're gonna ever get him out of that baby phase as far as what he is. Like I don't know if he's gonna grow at any point or something like that, freaking, or he's just gonna stay his same size the entire time. I was curious about that, because we kind of how we got Groot in Marvel. You see Groot, and then Groot's kind of transitioning as the stuff goes on.
I think that might have something more to do with Groot being like a living tree, from my
Yeah, I
understanding.
mean,
So
there's
he's
definitely
able to grow and
his speed
adapt.
in which he grows is faster. But I'm just curious if we're gonna get anything more with Grogu. I don't know how long Mandalorian is gonna go on, but I would be curious of the lore of Grogu as to when he gets older. Like, you think they're gonna do maybe a spinoff later where Grogu's more of a adult character and he's kind of doing his thing and stuff like that, freaking, or are they gonna keep him at where he's at and just kind of ride it out and then kind of end that story and with Mando.
I think they're gonna ride it out. I know season 4 is already written. Favreau already came out. It's like, yeah, I'm done. I just need this season to wrap up, and then I can start filming on the next season. It's
Okay.
like writing's done. Everything's set in stone. My characters are ready. I don't have any loose ends. And then as far as the Bo-Katan with the dark saber, what the armorer was very specific about is the weapon reacts to you knowing exactly what you want to do with it. When your mind is made up, it moves exactly the way you need it to. And with Din Djarin, he seems to be a little all over the place. He's got the people he grew up with, the people who raised him, and they have the creed and they're very set in stone, they're very rigid, and he's having a hard time with how Bo has kind of embraced him, been like, you can take the thing off. It doesn't make you any less Mandalorian. Because I mean, if anything, she understands more than anyone that he has the dark saber. You can call him an apostate all you want, but he's your leader. Like the fact that the armor is still going around and being like, "You're an apostate. You're not one of us." Dude, I'm carrying the weapon of our people. I have done the work. I wear the armor. Like I've done all the side quests. I
She's
am
annoying.
the guy.
She's annoying. I'm sick of her.
So so there's a lot of things in place with internal conflict for him as where Bo Katan's like, I know what I want. I want the dark saber. I want to unite my people. There's nothing gray about that. She knows what she wants. She knows how to get it. But having this experience with a mythosaur could, in some ways, kind of swing her more to be like, yeah, maybe these cultists might have something going on. They might understand something that maybe I didn't because of my privilege or my stature at the time with in Mandalore. But I don't have anything else to break down for
I'm
this
good.
episode. So, guys, thank you for checking out this video. We will see you guys in the next one. I'm Brent, Man Myth the Marvel, Will Parker. See you.
Mando, baby.